What up, Arturo? Let me get the rest of the social media posts out real quick. What the fuck? I'm on Instagram because I don't normally post over here, and I'm like, maybe we'll try it. I can either post or create an AI character. Also, I only want to post the story, so I don't know why. Maybe I'll try to post it through my phone. I bet. College is always a busy time. And my streaming schedule is always at like the worst time for most people in college. Because I have to edit at night. So like, the best time to stream is just taken at that point. Alright, story. God, what did they do? What did they do? Oh, there we go. I got the pre-order. That, which is huge. Like, literally the day I went to go get it, I was the first in the door. The store manager handed me a piece of paper. That piece of paper had number 1 on it. Oh god, I don't like this song. Oh, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool. First in line. So I got the order in. The guy behind me got the order in. The guy behind him got the order in. The guy behind him put it in the cart, went to checkout, filled out the information for the store because it's store pickup. You didn't have to put your card number in. You just did like, I'm at this store. I want to pick it up at this store. Go. Right? Click go. And it went, hey, it's sold out before you could click go. Sorry. And it's like, oh, dude. And we did that at a Games Workshop store, at a Warhammer store. Because apparently the Warhammer store, the website that they have on their computer is like a little ahead of the American website. Like any post that occurs for inventory tends to appear on that computer at that store 5 minutes before it will appear anywhere else in the US for pre-order. So we had a 5-minute head start, and in that 5-minute time period, it sold out. So I got one. It should be, I think they're going out this coming weekend. But I'm actually kind of glad I didn't immediately start stream, because I was getting ready and I was like, oh, I'll go live while I clean. But then like my airbrush tip had like a bunch of orange paint in it that I had to clear out. Yeah, apparently the Warhammer stores get a 5-minute head start for their pre-orders. I'm of the mindset that Games Workshop isn't doing a good job with, you know, trying to get the pre-orders to people who are going to use them. Games Workshop has a massive issue with scalping. Like, I don't know. I think you might be from, I can't remember if, I don't think you're from the other side of YouTube I'm on with video games. Like I do a lot of video game stuff with like other channels because of my editing gig. And we experienced all of that, like Switch scalping and like just how scalping works over there. And I was like, man, that's crazy, but I kind of get it because this is like universal and just like everyone kind of wants this stuff. And then I looked at it in terms of like Games Workshop, because I was like, there's no way Games Workshop stuff has the same problem. It really does. Frickin' Black Library books, if it's a special edition, those are sold out and immediately scalped. Like there's books that come out from Games Workshop that'll come out for like maybe $80-$100, like really good quality, like leather bound editions, things like that. They'll get completely scalped and then sold on market for like $2,000. So that was stunning to realize that that's actually a thing. And then new release boxes like the one I'm purchasing, that's probably going to be all over eBay. Probably already is all over eBay. Let me take a look at it. What's up, Sealy the Sea Lion? Take a look at eBay real quick. Emperor's Children. Because sometimes people will pre-order something and then they will claim, yep, there we are. That's not that bad. 232, it's like slightly more. I feel like these are slightly more, which is making me wonder how, like this one says like $55. There's no way. I mean, it's from UK. 213. Oh, shipping from United Kingdom. I wonder if somebody got like a really good like connect to purchase it for super. Oh, these might be the stores. Because storefronts usually get these things for a lot cheaper, and then whatever they sell at MSRP they make. So I wonder if stores are getting them, and then like they're just gonna sell them online for. I'm guessing because this is $32 shipping, they're gonna make it seem like it's a regular amount, and then hit you with like a bunch of shipping for no reason. No, yeah, scalping is a massive problem in a lot of things. There's actually a few countries that have laws against it. Because it really does, like, completely fuck with the general economy. The gist some people have of it is thinking like, oh, well, I mean, the stores are selling out, so, like, why is that an issue if the stores are selling out? Well, if the product is something people have to use to, like, get through life, like, maybe it's something important medically or just for, like, work or just anything, and that job or those people rely on it being, like, the shelf price, but then somebody buys it all and sells it to them for 3 times the amount, that's an issue. And for things like Games Workshop products, like, the game doesn't exist if people just buy it all, scalp it, and then no one buys from the scalpers. Like, then it's just people not wanting to really play all that much. By the way, these are Horus Heresy rhinos. I prefer how they look, which is why I bought them. They are also a little bit cheaper than regular rhinos. So super fun. Yep, we went Horus Heresy because we went with a Horus Heresy Land Raider because I needed a Land Raider and they were sold out. And I started looking around to see if I could find one, and the only one I could find was Horus Heresy. I verified that like it's okay tournament-wise in like a lot of locations and places. Even GW's been like, yeah, it's fine, or at least people from GW. I'm coming to find out that the people who work on the GW Warhammer community page aren't exactly directly connected to the rules writers. Like, apparently in history, the community page managers have written things. Like, they've written informational posts where they're like, oh yeah, this is fine. And then like a week later, they've had to release like, we're sorry we said it was fine. It's not fine. We got yelled at. But I do like the way they look a little bit better than standard rhinos because of the giant circular door. I love the giant circular door on the side. We did have to make some sprue goo. I have not made sprue goo before, so this is kind of my first time using it. Because this wouldn't, like, one of these edges wouldn't line up properly. Like, no matter what I did, it wasn't able to line up. The main difference, oh, I can just show you, because you've probably seen a 40k Land Raider. So no top armor. It's a little taller. The Sposons are closer to the side, but the sides are wider. So it's technically the same distance. It just doesn't have that box. And the lasers aren't next to each other. They're over under. Still has the front opening door. Like, it's a Land Raider. There's minor measurement differences. Like, to some people, there are some things from Horus Heresy that, if you use it, you are kind of trying to, like, model for advantage a little bit. At least in some people's minds. Because apparently there's some tank that's thinner in Horus Heresy, so it can go down aisles and alleyways that it normally can't in 40k. I'm gonna have to really work this one over. It's getting too bubbly on top. But yeah, these are both for my Noise Marines. You get 2 Noise Marine squads out of the original pre-order box. Two 10-man squads so they can fit right in the rhinos. 10-man is their maximum number. They can't go below it, I believe. I don't think you can double 5. I think you have to 10. The problem is their weapons are all 18-inch range, so you have to have something to deliver them to the front line. So, tournaments don't necessarily care a lot. There's an element in tournaments of people who, they really want like the purism of, oh, well, it's this model, it has to be put together in this fashion, blah, 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 blah. But there's a level to it where, you know, people want to show off the models they make. It is part of the hobby. So there's people who are like, I want to show you how cool my leader can look. And 9 times out of 10, that means the leader model they're using isn't the same silhouette as like the straight up, this is the model from its origin kind of situation. Statistically, they seem good, but they're missing so much stuff. I think they're starting with almost as much as like the Votan starting quantity of like units and types, which, considering they're Chaos Space Marines, there's a lot that's missing that everyone's like, how'd this happen? Like, we don't have Hellbrutes, man. Hellbrutes aren't good. On like a universal scale, they are not good. So it's one of those things where it's like, why wouldn't you give them to us? They're generally not good. So, I mean, you could just give us stats for them, and then maybe we want to run them. And it, you know, it won't be that big of a deal, because, like, they won't be good. So, oh well. I just, you know, I have Hellbrutes, I kind of want to use them. So much stringy glue. The glue I use to glue the magnets in occasionally gets like really stringy. Goes all over the place like cobwebs. They are missing so many units. So we get Mauler Fiends, we don't get Forge Fiends. That is the same model in the same box. You just change the parts on it. You can have either. So they're straight up just like, no. You can have Maulers because you're a melee heavy fast army. You don't get Forge. And it's like, okay, well that removes a lot of our ranged, you know, damage potential, which I think that's the key thing. If you consider like a method of balancing a game as like taking stuff out of a stat to give it to another stat, basically what Games Workshop did was they took all of the ranged potential of the Emperor's Children away from them. Even the Noise Marines are 18-inch range maximum. That is some of the worst distance you could possibly have. That's why you need rhinos. Like when you see 18-inch range on your most devastating ranged weapons, you see this as a cost that you have to pay. Like, I cannot not pay this. This needs to be able to go somewhere and cause problems for people who are like, well, I couldn't kill it before it got to me, time to lose a unit. As 10 Noise Marines hop out the side and fire what is almost equivalent to 2 a little bit more powerful las cannons than las cannons, and then like 9 maybe like plasma cannon tier weapons into a side of a vehicle and just blow it up. Right? Like, that's kind of the point of them. Meanwhile, the only weapons we get that are ranged that are okay are the las cannons on the side of my Land Raider. That's it. Those are like the longest and most devastating weapons we'll have, outside of taking on, you know, some knights as an assistant. So that's kind of where they're going to be, but I think that's fine. I mean, it's fine for me. I want to be clear. It's fine for me because I'm kind of okay with being like, oh, the whole reason I'm getting them is because I want melee, right? I want them to be like my rushdown melee army. So that's what I want. That's what I'm getting. If I wanted Emperor's Children to be a long-range powerhouse, that's a little weird. And that's kind of where the Pantheons are going, right? Like, a little bit at least. If you want something hyper durable that's decent at attacking but not necessarily the greatest, you got your Death Guard. If you want something that's incredible at range, but if you get them into melee, they crumple, I mean, you got your Thousand Suns. If you want, melee that is kind of durable, like there's a little bit of like a frenzy mechanic to them, you got your Khorne. And then if you want melee that's like, it's gonna hit you hard, but it's also paper mache. Generic Marines, no. The Tormentors that they have access to are fine. Like the Tormentor models that you get, which are the specialty ones for the Emperor's Children, those are fine. They're actually good. The bolt gun ones make objectives sticky, and they're actually not bad with their weaponry and options. And then the melee ones are actually really cool, especially when they're being led by like the warlord leader. So generic units, like generic on foot units, no. But like they gave him a Helldrake. Why did they give him a Helldrake? Why do we have a Helldrake and not a Hellbrute? Like, I would have preferred a Hellbrute over a Helldrake. And I have 2 Helldrakes. I kind of like using them. But if they went Hellbrute instead of Helldrake, it would have felt better because you could have maybe had a Hellbrute that you convert to have like speaker systems on it, like a little walking boombox. It just works. Right? Like, meanwhile, I mean, we just get a Helldrake instead. I think personally the biggest loss from the Emperor's Children launch is that they didn't relaunch bikes. I think that is the actual weakest part of this launch, is that bikes, which Doom Rider is intrinsically like the biker of the Chaos Space Marine army. Like, he's your champion if you like bikes. And he is very Slaanesh. And I think Slaanesh could have been this really interesting conceptual release for bikers. Because the idea is bikers now for Chaos are basically demons fused to their bikes, right? Like, they're more demon engine than biker. That would have been really cool to have Doom Rider be like an almost centaur on a bike. And then a bunch of like mini bikers who are in a similar fashion, like their lower halves are fused to their bikes, and then they're just like melee weapons flying about, and they've got like big weird guns. Honestly, the fact that bikers aren't part of the Emperor Children launch, that's just sad to me. For the longest time, a lot of people who are fans of Chaos Bikers were thinking that this was when they were going to come back. And I agreed with them because, you know, Doom Rider. Why would I not agree with Doom Rider? Doom Rider is the obvious choice. Here, let me empty my dump cup real quick. BRB. Dunk Cup. Oh, people can still run as biker champ. That's cool, CFP. Yeah, like Doom Rider would have been great. I love it, but yeah, the one guy at the store who he's been playing Chaos Space Marines this whole time. He wants to swap up to. We gotta wait for this to dry. He wants to swap up to Slaanesh with Emperor's Children. When they drop, he's not super excited about it because the way he's been building his army, he's a little focused on vehicles, and half the vehicles he uses, he can't use in Emperor's Children. Like, he uses Forge Fiends. He uses Hellbrutes. He uses a Predator, I believe. He can't use those. Like, it's so weird, but at the same time, I kind of get it a little bit. Like I was saying, I mean, they're the most melee-tuned Chaos Space Marine army I've seen. And that's saying something, considering World Eaters are a thing. I'm sitting in freaking airbrush fume thinner that should be leaving through the window soon. I'm getting freaking alcohol contact high here. Yeah, a Sonic Predator, Sonic Hellbrute would have been nice. And I know it feels like Games Workshop isn't really doing much with the Hellbrute. Like, it's been out of stock in the US for quite some time. So it feels like they're trying to maybe get a new Hellbrute started. So there's a chance the Hellbrute does come in to the Emperor's Children Codex in the form of like a data card that gets dropped online. Maybe. Because maybe they decide that it's more worth it to have a Hellbrute with 4 loadouts that you can kind of go with between the Pantheons. Like, there'll be a Berserker Hellbrute where he has like dual axes or something, and those axes have like flamethrowers attached to them, and that's a Hellbrute for the World Eaters. Maybe there's like a plagued out one with like a really big, like a sort of plague flamethrower on one side and like a flail on the other, and there's your Death Guard one. And then there's just like little pieces or components you can add to it. Kind of like if you're familiar with the Demon Prince, the way they made the Demon Prince re-release, you can have a Demon Prince 1 box be either AOS armor or 40k armor, all 4 of the Pantheons, including a undivided version, and 3 weapon options. That's one. That is one Demon Prince box. I do not see the reason they couldn't go, okay, it's very clear the Hellbrute, people either use it as dual melee or a missile launcher and a las cannon. Let's figure this out. Let's actually make it so that the Hellbrute is a valuable addition to armies for a decent price, like, cost of whatever they can muster up, I guess. And then you do it. You make the Sonic one for Emperor's Children, where it maybe has 18-inch range, but it has, like, the greatest Sonic weapon of all time. Like, I don't know if you've seen the leak stats. I know a lot of people have looked at them, because, I mean, they're just everywhere. Let me go to the Leaks channel, and I'll just read you the stats from a standard Noise Marine weapon. Standard. This is just a Noise Marine. And then consider in your head what this weapon would be like in the hands of a Hellbrute as, like, upgraded for a weapons platform. Data sheets. Where are you? Tormentors, Infractors. There we are. So this is the big version, which I imagine it would be the double setup as well on a Hellbrute. 18-inch range, probably the same thing. So you've got the single frequency, which is the anti-tank. 3 shots, ballistic skill 3, strength 10, AP 2, damage 3. That's really good, especially since it comes with ignores cover. Vehicles just, you can't. Like, you can't hide a vehicle and be like, oh, I'm going to get, you know, it's AP 1. No, it's AP 2. It is AP 2, you do not have an option. And then it has an anti-infantry mode, which is, you know, strength 6, AP 2, damage 1, 6 attacks, 3+. Imagine the actual vehicle version of that. I mean, it would be like a strength 12. It would still be short range, because, I mean, that's hilarious. I love the idea of a Hellbrute needing to book it across the field. You could almost not give it a melee weapon. I think you would, but you could almost just give it 2 of those and just be like, this is what it is. It's a really good ranged thing. If you get it into melee, it can still shoot, because maybe it's not blast, or maybe they give it blast, and that's kind of its real downside, is if somebody gets it into melee, it can't shoot into its own melee. That could be interesting. Or can it, and then does it take bonus damage in classic Chaos fashion? Self wounds. But yeah, we didn't get them. We didn't really get anything that makes the Emperor's Children stand out outside of technically Flawless Blades. I think Flawless Blades are the most direct, finessable unit in the Emperor's Children. Everything else is kind of connected. I mean, Noise Marines are great, but honestly, a Havoc Squad is kind of the same thing with better range. So, like, The Tormentors and Infractors, they're basically just, you know, Legionary. That's fine. It's whatever. And then you get into, like, the actual units, the Cacophonist. That's cool, especially in the hands of Noise Marines. I don't know why you want them in Terminators for sustained one on bolt guns, but I guess. I need it to be just dry enough that I can pick it up and start hitting the spots that are a little bit off. It's very smooth right now, which is good. You need the white to be very smooth before hitting it with the pink, because if you hit the pink over top of like weird gray washy tone, you get like this weird visual aesthetic, which isn't the worst. The main area I need to focus on for that is around the bottom, which that is soaking wet. It has to be around the bottom, because that's where the pink is actually going to play in. And then we do Cobalt over top of that at the midpoint. That way, and the Cobalt's very opaque, and it makes it very flat. So I don't really need to necessarily care too much about how clear and consistent the white is up top. The Cobalt will override it. But I also kind of want to make sure the primer itself is well stuck to these 2 tanks. Let me actually turn down this, because it's going to get very bright with this for a little bit. But how are you all doing? Any of you getting Emperor's Children stuff? I'm super happy I got the pre-order in. I mean, my wallet isn't, but I am. In my head, I still need to grab 1 Lucius, and I need to grab 1 Combat Patrol. And I think that's it. I think that's the army, because I have Fulgrim already. I have a Land Raider. I think that hits 2K. About, like, I think it's maybe like a little bit under. Oh, dude. Everything about this army is going to be loud. Everyone's painted this way. I mean, there's a reason. Like, they're all going to be like this. They're all going to have this, like, craggy rock surface underneath them. It's going to be bright pink with a fluorescent blue pigment powder on it to try to give it, like, a little bit of detail on the surface. And then all the characters are this vaporwave pink into cobalt into purple with non-metallic metal gold, which sadly we started with Fulgrim for this. And I'm really starting to learn how to get the non-metallic metal to look really good. It looks decent on the Land Raider. It's a little bit thick. The paint I'm using was a little too thick when I applied it, so there's some texture to it, which I'm okay with. It's not the worst. From a distance, it looks really nice. But then with these rhinos and then all the little soldiers we're going to paint using the same method, it actually should look really good. Like, it should genuinely look pretty good. Like, I think we'll get it down pat. And then, yeah, this is going to be one of the loudest Emperor's Children armies locally. And I'll take it to tournaments and be like, haha! Let me rush you down with these 2+ to hit, 3+ to wound against anything. Flawless blades. Like, that still blows my mind. 3+ for crits? 3+ crit wounds. Are you kidding me? There's a few things in the game that I can think of where I'm like, I probably wouldn't do that right off the bat with them, because if they don't land any kills, they die. Or like 1 unit dies, I think, in the whole squad. Yeah. So Bliss Blades, 3 attacks each, 2+ to hit. I'd have 1 full-sized 6-man squad of them in the Land Raider, and that's kind of how that works. And then when you select it to fight, unmodified wound rolls of 3+ score a critical wound. So even if someone's like, hey man, -1 to wound, I can go, hey man, 3+ just does the job. All of those like Fellhammer, Chaos Space Marine armies that are like, hey, -1 to wound because your strength is higher than my toughness. I tell them no. I'm wounding you on 3s. It's happening. AP 3 damage 2 per. You have to kill, I think it's a model. You do not have to kill the whole unit, I don't think. Call the Constipation phase. And no enemy models. If you don't kill an enemy model, one of yours dies. I do not know how in a 6-man squad with 3 attacks each. I do not understand how you don't kill 1 model. And then you can toss Lucius into this. So Lucius, he doesn't give them like anything. Lucius is, all of his bonuses are when he's alone, to my understanding. Like, he gets all these really good bonuses when he's just off doing his own thing. Just not giving a shit. Which I don't think he's in this league that I have. It was another league. Yeah, Lucius. He doesn't provide the squad anything. He himself has a Feel No Pain 5-up. When he specifically targets a character, a monster, or a walker unit, he can reroll hit rolls and reroll wound rolls. And then when he, at the start of the fight phase, if he is not leading a unit, he gets fights first. So the moment that he gets, removed from the squad, he suddenly fights first. So it's going to be a problem to kill him. He actually does a lot of good stuff. He has the anti-infantry attack, Lash of Torment, 10 attacks, hitting on 2s, strength 4, AP 1, damage 1, with sustained hits, I want to say 1 or 2. It's kind of like, it's lit up here. But then he gets his Blade, which is 6 attacks, hitting on 2, strength 8, AP 3, damage 3, with precision. You put him in the squad of Flawless Blades, not only does he have precision, he has guaranteed wounds on 3. Guaranteed wounds on 3. That is so good. Especially into some of like the bigger enemies. And then just full rerolls. This is so brutal. He's going to be so brutal. I'm going to use Fulgrim though as well. Fulgrim, for his points, he's actually technically not that good. Like, you're better off in the current meta using way more Marines than you are taking Fulgrim. But I'm going to take Fulgrim. Like, I'm going to do it. I made him. I painted him. I want to see people have to take him on. I want to see him, like, run into the Silent King. I want to see him do all kinds of crazy shit. People at the store right now, so many of them play Ultramarines with Gilliman. So many of them play Ultramarines with Gilliman. And I really want this guy to just murk Gilliman. His statistics for killing Gilliman would just be way too good. Because he gets extra attacks. He gets good statted, like, sweeping hits and really hard-hitting anti-tank, anti-monster hits that all have sustained built in. Oh, it's so good. It's just so stupidly good. He's such a good character. Still a little bit wet. Kind of want to like put my fan on him. We're gonna, at least today, we're gonna try to get through the base coloring with the Vaporwave approach. So we're gonna try to do the pink, into the cobalt, into the purple. And then depending on what time it is, that might be it until tomorrow, where we will attempt to do all the gold detail, which I think is gonna be nice. I'm gonna bring my fan over here. It's a little fan, shouldn't be that loud for you guys. I'm excited though. I think this method of painting will work really quickly once I finish getting all the units together. My thing is the guns, right? Like, I know the guns on the Land Raider I did gold, and I'm probably gonna do the same thing with the Tormentors. I imagine I'll do the same thing with the Infractors. They'll have like a gold dagger and a gold pistol. But the Noise Marines I'm interested in, because I might want to make their weapons a little different looking. It's either that or we just fully lean into the opulent gold. Let me take a look at the new Noise Marines, and we'll think about it while we wait for this to dry, because I was not prepared for the primer to take this long, actually. Normally it's dry by now, but we'll let it rip, and we will take a look at the new Noise Marines. So, if we consider the paint scheme that I'm doing, we're gonna have the bottom be pink, leading into the cobalt at about like the upper thigh area, and then the top will be purple. We're gonna make sure the top part, probably at about the mid-waist and up, is gonna be purple. Then all the framing is gonna be non-metallic gold that's in the purple area. Everything down in the pink might stay regular. I don't think I want to do black as like a lining in it, although that could be kind of cool. Could be interesting to go back in a little bit on the units and try to do like a little bit of black edge work in the pink area, just to make it look kind of like the new era, right? So the backpacks, definitely gold speakers. Probably going to leave a lot of it purple though, so that it's not just one giant gold brick. And then the main thing I'm thinking of are these guns, because you get like this metal area in the middle, you get all the lining, but then you also get the heads and like this. And I kind of like this approach. I kind of like making it white, but doing it as one of those like blue shade or purple shade whites. I have a lot of colors right now that are very low opacity at the high end, so I could technically do like a pink or maybe a purple, or I could lean into like a blue or a green as a shader color underneath the sort of white approach to go like pure opulence, right? So everything's kind of gold purple, and then these guns just happen to have these really beautiful whites with frickin' maybe like a purple or blue shader. I think blue might be one of the better options. if I'm being honest, because there's not a lot of blue in the image itself. I think that could work out really well. I do need to think about what this inner piping is going to be, though. They all have this like inner pipe tubing for their midsections, but then they don't really have a lot of liner on the armor itself. I could probably do like gold for the tubing and then just leave this purple, which would mostly be gold on this wrist part here, gold on the edges of the shoulder pads, probably gold on this right here, this like neck collar. A lot of them have either a piped neck collar or they have the tubes for whatever this is. This I'm probably gonna do the orange to yellow. Let me show you guys this. Fade. So my approach to like energy and light and stuff with these guys is the chartreuse to orange. So you've got here, you've got kind of the heated engine part. That's the approach I want to make for anything that I feel is like a plasma or melta. That I'm just gonna stick with that. I don't want to lean too far into green. I've been doing green for years with my Knights, my Thousand Suns. I've just been hyper focused on doing the straight up green approach, which it looks good, but I kind of want to, you know, just try something new. And I think focusing on like that heat for like the tubes, this might end up being an after everything is painted thing where I paint this area white and then I just go back in with high flow chartreuse, make it that, and then a little bit of high flow orange watered down around one of the edges. Same thing on all the pipes, just to give it like a nice heat look. I think these heads might be fine for the female heads that I have, which I'm excited about that. The flawless blades I have issues with just because of how they generally look. But these types of units, I think I have good replacement heads for them. The Tormentors we're getting and the... what is it? That box comes with 1 liter. He's definitely getting a female head. These guys are probably going to unless I see some good helmets, we'll probably give them female heads. I have to think about how we're doing this though, because part of me wants to have the head be lit from the inside of the collar piece, which means my heads would have to get painted separately, and then the inside of the collar piece would have to get painted after everything with white and then probably like magenta or pink or something. So by the end of it, I'm gluing a head down that looks like the glow is coming out of the collar, which could be cool. I gotta jerry rig some stuff up though if we're gonna do that, because the heads all have to get painted on a sort of like pin system. I think I have a lot of push pins that I could probably glue to a wooden, just like a wooden thing, like a wooden sheet. And then we just put all the heads on it and just start painting them all. Get them all ready. Maybe we could start doing that this week. Because if the heads are ready, I think I have to wash them because they're resin, they're 3D printed. So we gotta get the dust off of them. And then maybe we get them started sooner rather than later, so they can be ready for their bodies. Could be cool. I mostly just can't wait to rush down other armies. I probably shouldn't have bought my Gene Stealer cult. So we're going to hold it from the top and then we're going to hit from below. Okay. I really shouldn't have bought my Gene Stealer cult, I think. Gene Stealer cult is basically what the Emperor's Children are going to be for me with rushdown melee, at least the army I built. The bigger issue is that Instead of Gene Stealer Cult, had I focused on demons like I was thinking of doing, I would have had the like weird deep strikey army. Like I could have had it. I just could have had it. But I opted out because I'm a fool. It would have been so much easier too. Honestly, I would have bought 2 more squads of Screamers and then maybe 1 more squad of Flamers, and I would have been done. Meanwhile, I'm out here buying like all the Aberrants and Abominants, and it was such a dumb idea. I really shouldn't have done it. I want to play them, but I also don't want to play them. There's so much admin work you need to know in the background just to get them to do what they're supposed to do. Anyone getting Emperor's Children have a paint scheme idea for their own army? Gonna go any leopard print? That's a big one. It's a major one that I know a lot of people are looking into. If you want my opinion on leopard print for how to paint it, paint the whole surface white. Yeah. Bold of you to assume I can as well. I'm still doing it like an idiot. But here we are. I was about to buy a new airbrush, and then I got contacted by a company that makes airbrushes. Not like amazing airbrushes, but like sort of that baby's first hobby airbrush, so you don't have to spend an arm and a leg. So I was like, oh, I'll wait. They were like, we love your channel and all the hobby work you do. Which made me go check out my hobby playlist of 3 videos. I was like, okay. I do really want to expand the hobby playlist a little bit. I try to make it nice. I just know I'm not like a hobby channel for a lot of people. Although I don't, honestly, at this point, I have no idea what channel I am for people. I thought I was a Kill Team channel, but I just dropped a Kill Team video that couldn't break 400 views in a day. Meanwhile, I drop a combat patrol video that breaks 10K in a day. I was like, okay, I don't get any of this. I don't understand. I don't recognize what's going on, but okay. It is what it is. I want to do more videos talking about like actual strategy, not just like breaking down a team, but like doing more strategy. I want to get back into combat report or battle reports. But this is the table I record battle reports on, and we're currently doing Emperor's Children, and that's kind of important to have that be like fully ready. Right, like that's kind of my goal. I want to do a video showcasing Fulgrim fighting the rest of the Chaos, like, big leadership that I have. Because I have Magnus, I have Abaddon. So I kind of want to do like a Fulgrim versus video. Oh, this is something we can talk about. So, data slate leaks. I haven't looked into them. Have not personally looked into the data slate leaks. Do we think the data slate is going to be this immediate drop after the Emperor's Children Codex comes out? And is it going to have Emperor's Children FAQ stuff in it, like, already? Is it going to be Games Workshop being like, look, we put it on paper, we did it through the process of printing, we looked at the rules and went, ah, crap. By the way, Flawless Blades, they get crits on 4s, not 3s. It's like, oh, dude. Get us all hyped with the leaks and then screw us up. The reason I'm excited for crits on 3s, even though they don't trigger dev wounds, I get hit so many times by squads that are like, yeah, lethal's on 5. I'm just like, dude, screw you. Like, there's so many armies that have those gimmicks of like, I can just lethal or dev or any of this without really needing to roll a 6. Congratulations, you're an asshole. Alright, now we get the fan back over here. We got pink to do next. No, yeah. Oh, dude, and you think that's bad? Have you seen the immortal brick trick? You take the army, the frickin' Necron army that has like the uppy downy function, and one of the squads is a character-led immortal squad, I believe, full size. And they're wielding the guns that come with sustained hits. It's like sustained 3 on every single gun. I don't think it's the Cloak Overlord. I think it's just the detachment that has uppy downy built in, so they don't have to have any of that extra crap. And they just uppy downy like that one squad every turn. They drop it next to something they want to kill. They roll their hits. Friggin' 40 attacks become... Oh no, what it's like 20 attacks become on average 35 to 40. It's so angry. One of the locals who does a lot of tournaments and is like decently high ranked in those tournaments, he runs that as his list. And he hit me with it frickin' into my knights list. He was basically just picking off 1 to 2 knights a turn, no problem. It's like, yeah, make 38 saves. It's like, god damn it, dude. Meanwhile, so yesterday I had a game that I had planned, right? I thought I had planned. I was talking to a person who wanted to get into tournament play, so he was like, I want to test a list for tournament. I was like, yeah, sure, no problem, let's do it. No, yeah. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's play this list. I really want to play around with this list. And I was like, all right, man. Because he does have decent lists, and the way he's approaching the game is different than most meta, which is good. I like people like this who enter the game and bring lists that are weird, because the meta gets really stale when everyone's like, oh, this is the meta. You have to do this. You have to. You do not have an option. You have to run this list. And you see it, and you're just like, I hate that. I hate that idea. I hate that notion that I have to do that. And then someone will come along and be like, oh, I'm bringing 3 squads of Terminators and a Land Raider. Everyone's like, that's not meta. And then that list stomps all of their lists because it's the counter meta. And that's fantastic. And he runs a weird list like that. He tries to either do, I think it's Fellhammer, or he does Veterans of the Old War. The one that's sort of like the Gladius detachment rule. Or not Gladius. It's like the Space Marine, like, passive, where you mark targets. And he has a lot of Terminators and a lot of... He has, like, 1 Land Raider, a lot of Terminators, a lot of heavy armor things that are very difficult to shift. And he just goes all over the board and is obnoxious. And everyone that's fought him early on, he doesn't really do a lot in, like, turn 1, turn 2, other than get points. And then turn 3, he just, like, pops out of all of his vehicles and is like, and you're all dead. And it's this good idea that I think is interesting and could be fun in tournament play. So he was like, let's play. I was like, oh, dude, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna play my knights into you. It'll be an interesting thing when I pop around corners and I just unload melta-guns into your big tanks. It'll be fun. He was like, yeah, Saturday. And I told him Saturday, and he thumbs up my Saturday thing. I was like, all right, sweet. So I showed up at 11, which is when the store opens. Around noon, he posted in the local Discord, oh, happy St. Patty's Day, everyone. And he was like nowhere near the store. He was like at a party. I was like, fuck. So someone showed up to the store around like 1 o'clock, and we played Combat Patrol. So I got to play with the Chaos Knight Combat Patrol, which sucks. It sucks so bad. Specifically into the Necron list. Necron has really good stuff that can counter the Chaos Knights Combat Patrol. But, dude, I almost had a 15-point turn. Like, I was like, all right, this is the turn I swing things back around, because I took out your utility units. I've taken out your main squad. All you have left is a leader and a tank. And I have 2 knights that are above half on wounds. I think I can pull this off. I ran my stalker into his leader, hit him 3 out of 4 times with the claw, and then rolled 3 1s and had no command points for the reroll. So his leader gibbed my tank. Just rolled the best it could possibly roll, killed my tank. His the little crab walker, the frickin' War of the Worlds mech that they get. I dumped a melt-a-gun into it, almost killed it, ran into melee with it with the stalker, and again proceeded to hit it 3 times and then roll 3 ones for the wounds. I couldn't finish units. I didn't have enough stuff on the field that was like, yo, I got this. It felt so bad fighting that list because it just, by the end of it, I was like, I did nothing. And it's all Dice God at that point. I think the Space Marine passive, right? Like the Space Marine passive is Oath of Moment. Because I've been hit with Oath of Moment from Space Wolves, I'm pretty sure. I think you just get that. Hang on, let me check Waha. I don't have their codex. Space Marines. But a lot of people do it. I played Vanguard. Like, after we did the combat patrol, I was getting ready to pack up. I was thinking of leaving. But then someone showed up with their Space Marine army, and I was like, you know what? Fine. It's 3 o'clock, but let's play a full 2K game. So yeah, Space Marines. Oath of Moment. That's the army rule. And if I'm not mistaken, I have the Chaos Space Marine Codex, but we'll still take a look at it through WA. It is called Veterans of the Long War. So you get your Dark Packs, but then you get Focus of Hatred. Focus of Hatred, select 1 unit from your opponent's army to be your Focus of Hatred. Until the start of your next command phase, each time a Heretic Astartes model from your army, excluding the Damned, makes an attack that targets the Focus of Hatred, reroll your hit roll. It's the same thing. But Oath got a buff, and Oath's buff is so stupidly good. It's +1 to wound. +1 to wound into Knights is horrifying. It took his entire army to kill my Knight Castigator. So, like, yeah. It did its work. It became a sponge. Every big weapon he had went into my Castigator. So it's like, all right, cool. That's fine. That's great. I kind of hate, though, that I never get to really have fun with my Castigator. The Castigator sort of just exists as a sustain 1 buff for all my War Dogs, and then that's it. And he pops out, maybe he shoots a little bit into one squad and does like some scary damage at first, but for the most part, he just dies if I send him anywhere turn 1, because then everyone's like, kill the Castigator, and they just shoot it and kill it off the board. Even though it has like 29 wounds, they still kill it. 29 wounds. He has Panoply, so -1 to any incoming AP. And then on top of that, he's such a big model that he's always in cover. Like, it's so hard to not have him be in cover. So he's just in cover. So -1 to AP, and then -1 again to the AP if it's AP2. So he's good. Like, he does what he wants. He's durable. I give him a 4+ invulnerable if I know it's his turn to have to take damage. And every single time he dies turn 2 because I step him out to do one thing and then he just dies. The one game I didn't even move him till turn 3. He actually did something. He wiped almost an entire Necron warrior squad in one go. Like, he's just mowed down everything but like 2. Oh, New Oath is terrifying. New Oath is a problem. It's an overcompensation without thinking about it. Because honestly, the +1 to wound should have a distance related to it. It should be +1 to wound within 12. You shouldn't be getting +1 to wound with a 72-inch super las gun from across the field. That's insane. Within 12, it's reasonable. Within 12, I'm like, all right, yeah. Because then that's like, ooh, salamanders. That's awesome. But when you're dealing with, like, the big-ass las cannons from across field, and they're like, I'm wounding you on 2s. You asshole. Wounding my toughness 12 units on 2s. Okay. That's the whole point of getting anything above toughness 10. You go to toughness 11, it's because you want the person you're playing against to never roll a 2+ on wound. Friggin' all of Space Marines with heavy weapons get that shit. Alright, these good? Can we pink it? I think we're pink ready. So my pink was running low. Thankfully, I bought a new one. What topics can we talk about? Anyone else play Monster Hunter? I got to Monster Hunter rank 100. I'm baffled by that game. For how much everyone's like glazing it, I thought it would be more interesting than it is. I love Monster Hunter as a series. I love the concept of it. It's always been cool to me. But Wilds feels like they just made everything really easy. And then gave us like nothing as a loop. The loop at the end of the game, if you're not going to do the Nightflower farm, is to just run the banner monster over and over again. That's it. You're just going to run the banner monster over and over again. You either want regular banner monster or tempered banner monster. And if you can run him alongside another monster in the Great Hunt, even better. Good. Right as my pink actually runs out. Thank God I bought new pink. Like, we're kind of at that point. I got my friend up to the point of playing Endgame. He got his decent set that he's happy with. He got a decent weapon he's happy with. And he hasn't said anything online. Like, I think he's done. I think he got the stuff that's kind of like, this is it. And he's like, oh, I guess I'm done. Oh, okay. The problem is, I'm inclined to agree with him. Because I'm the same way. I've got two weapons I'm really happy with, fully leveled up. I think the only thing I could probably use are better tier 3 gems. And then once I get better tier 3 gems, that's it. Like, I'm actually fully done the game. Until new monsters, I guess. And even then, I'm not wired like a Pokemon player, so I'm not worried about getting gold rank monsters as a hunt. I don't really care about that. That's not something my brain's like, we have to. This is something we need. We're gonna try something a little different with this. We're gonna try to only really use pink on the bottom. I don't really think I need to all over the pink. It's almost kind of a waste to all over the pink. Worst case scenario, we have some correctionary pink, which is good. paint's coming out really slow. Like a lot slower than I'm used to. It kind of works. But I have full cleaned this airbrush like 4 times. Very recently. So I genuinely think it's like on its last legs. Which for like a $20 airbrush is fantastic that it's made it this long. The problem I have is, though, that the store that I got this from, I think they're just getting out of selling airbrushes. Like, I think they just got one shipment of airbrushes in forever ago. They put them on sale once, which is when I bought this one. And then after that, they just kind of let them sit, and they never really got new stuff. Like, they had airbrushes. They had paints, of course. But they didn't have, like, cleaner. They didn't have half the stuff you would need for an airbrush in the store. So I had to order it all. Oh, God. I'm gonna try to fully clear this nozzle before we do the cobalt. I don't know why it's coming out this slow. Like, we just had a really good primer session. Like a pretty decent primer session, and that's way thicker than the paint that I'm using right now. I think the biggest issue with this thing right now is the gasket that goes between, that's like in here, between the pin and this housing back here. Because no matter how much I hit it with like lubricant or anything, it doesn't seem to like make the pin slide any better. I do have new silicone lubricant though. I might try it out to see if it'll, you know, make it a little bit smoother. I think that's the core issue, because I pull back and I'm pretty sure what's happening is this is pulling back and then the pin's just sliding in, which is keeping the pin forward, so it's never going full open. It's always going like half open. The only way I'm going to be able to paint this going forward is like pressing and then actually physically pulling back on the pin to get it to actually come out. Like, I think, yeah, that's how much I wanted to actually come out. It's just this. It's this having too much friction. I'm going to clean this and I'm going to try to apply lubrication to the inside for that specific spot. We'll see what happens. It could ruin everything and make this a very short stream. Lubricant. The YouTuber I actually watched that talked about that, the need to use lubrication in these in the airbrushes to prevent the pin from getting like bound up. He's a funny dude. Somewhere in Europe. Apparently he's a professional airbrusher. Like, that's what he does for his job. And then on the side, he kind of paints minis for himself and for other people. And he has one of those like really thick, like Swedish accents or something. It's like very nasally. I just remember him talking about the need to put lubrication in your airbrush, and he's like, "You apply the lubricant." Hee hee hee. He's so stupid. I love it. Let's try it out. Let me go grab the box. How's everyone doing though? Chat as always, getting quiet. I'm gonna make my rounds as a YouTuber. If you're hanging out, if you're chilling, if you're enjoying the hobby, maybe drop a like. Supposedly that is a big part of the algorithm. Well, maybe we could help you. Is there anything specific where you're like, oh, I kind of want this? Or is it up in the air between two things? Because my vote is on something that's hyper spicy. So to my understanding, airbrushes, you want to use silicone lubricant. I recently bought a walking pad because it's been snowy and rainy all the time here for like months. And it came in and I tried it and it's awesome. And I was like, cool. And now it's nice outside. So I bought an $150 walking pad around the same time I also needed to buy a bunch of Emperor's Children stuff. Around the same time I need to get my car in to do the transmission fluid change. But I did get this. This is 100% silicone. It's meant for treadmill, but I'm guessing we can get it to work here. Need a way to apply it though. I'll do Mediterranean all day long. What kind of Mediterranean? Because Mediterranean, like, usually when people talk about like a region of food, they'll usually just be like Mediterranean, and it's like there's more than one thing that place makes, right? Is there something that stands out? Or are you going to tell me that the places local to you only has like one kind of Mediterranean food? Curse of extremely effective cap seals. Lebanese food. Do you like some Lebanese? Have you had any of this recently? As to not burn yourself out on any one option. Or who knows, maybe you're the kind of person who really likes to only go with one thing. Yeah, but have you had it recently? There is a Middle Eastern place near me that I love, but I would not eat it every day. A, because I'd be 100 pounds heavier. B, because there is something to the concept of like limiting the amount of times you eat something. I think. At least I feel that way. We're just gonna lube the pin itself, and then hopefully this will help the gasket. Oh, dude, that's always the thing. Freaking the Middle Eastern place I go to is so cheap. So good. But if I were to eat it every day, the spices, the mixture, the way they make the meat, at some point I would get bored of it, and I don't want that to happen because it's so stupidly good tasting. Whereas if I eat it like once a month, oh, it hits so much harder. But if you haven't had it recently, maybe it's time to go again. There's also a Jamaican place near my buddy's house that's kind of the same way. They do jerk chicken. That shit is fire. We're gonna try something. I'll take this airbrush apart a little bit more. Lubricate some other parts. No, yeah, jerk chicken is good. We had a jerk chicken place near where I live like a while ago. But they changed it up. I guess they weren't doing that well. I think it was one of those fun situations. We have a lot of these nearby where a food truck... Oh, now that I'm thinking about it, there's a Mexican place I might go get stuff from today. There's a lot of places that are starting to open up where they used to be a food truck, and now they want a storefront. So, I know the new Mexican place that's open used to be a food truck. I know there used to be one. And it's good because, like, you always get that weird, we have to prove that we're worth it kind of situation out of food trucks, right? Because, like, food trucks are food trucks. You can kind of get whatever from them. Like, it doesn't really matter. So every food truck that ever existed is like, yo, we want you to think of us when you think of, you know, Mexican or any kind of like food that we're making. We want you to look at us and go like, I need that. So now that they're all becoming storefront spots, it's actually kind of cool. Wait, you're getting 2 boxes? There's no way there's someone that's living near you, if you have a scene, doesn't want one. I'm gonna throw that out right now. There's no way, if you have a local scene, that someone doesn't want one. That thing is sold out everywhere. It's sold out in the first 3 minutes of release. I'm sure local stores that are going to get copies for themselves might actually not put them on the shelf and instead post them on eBay. cleaned this up enough. We're gonna try the cobalt now. I get not scalping, but honestly, if you're gonna sell it for the regular price or even the price you purchased it at, I wouldn't consider that scalping. Especially if you, if as you're saying, you got it for what, 15% off? Imagine being the guy who's like, look, I just want my money back. 15% off. That's how I got it. That's how I want to sell it. That's not, in my opinion, that's fine. Scalping is when the box actually drops, and then it sells out at every store, and then you start seeing on eBay like $2 grand for the box. Because there really is a hype about this army right now. Like, it is something fierce. At the very least, when I was getting ready to pre-order the box, I did have a backup plan for it. So it's good that the backup plan wasn't really necessary. Kind of happy about that. I had a buddy who kind of had a pre-order in for it at his local shop. Because the way that that shop works is if they're going to get stuff in, and you have enough store credit from things you've traded in and like stuff you've done, you can kind of just put your name in, right? Like you can be like, look, put one aside for me. So he did that because he does have a ton of pre-order credit apparently. And they were like, we got you, man. We're gonna get at least 3 or whatever. But the moment I put my pre-order in, I was like, we're good, bro. It went through, the money went through, everything went through. I wouldn't call myself a Slaanesh fan since I first knew about them back in 3rd. But I kind of grew into them because it is really like, they are the tortured artist faction. Like, they love loud music, they love excessive anything, art, all of it. And it's that taken to like the evil chaos extreme, of course, but like, I don't know, there's something fun about that. Vaporwave. Because I've always been a big Tzeentch fan. Like, Tzeentch is kind of my jam. But Slaanesh is definitely a close second. I imagine, okay, so with the way Kill Team has been working right now, if they plan on dropping a new Emperor's Children unit, that's when we'll get the new Kill Team, most likely. I don't know what it's going to be. I know a lot of people are thinking because Emperor's Children's coming out, that one of the units that's coming out with them is going to be a Kill Team. I don't think that's going to be the case. I just don't. I think we're getting the units as they are, and then it's going to end up being kind of like the Votann, where maybe one of the units gets like an augmented upgrade sprue, or maybe not. I don't know. I actually don't think we're getting cultists. We might get some kind of cool Beastman though. But honestly, there's kind of a problem. Oh, God, I have to fix that. There's kind of a problem with Emperor's Children and the potential of a Kill Team, right? The next thing they need to drop for Emperor's Children are Chaos Bikes. Like, that needs to be the thing. So, like, that can't be a Kill Team. Or maybe it can. Could you imagine them being the first biker Kill Team? But like Votann got the Jaegers through Kill Team, and that happened well after. Oh, we talking about Ashes of Faith 2.0? Cultist versus Cultist versus Inquisition? I don't know. I feel like with Kill Team, Games Workshop is trying to push as far away from elite teams as they can going forward. Because people, I mean, it's going to be impossible to really balance elite in a Kill Team setting without it being so detrimental to the Kill Team that it just, you can't play it. Like, you won't be able to play using them. It's going to be impossible. It's just one of those things where I don't think it happens in a positive way. But the teams themselves, I mean, they're gonna be valid. There's purpose in them existing. So I mean, they're fine. It's gonna come down to the rules, because when they showed off the Imperial side, the difference between the Inquisitors and that team is, it appears that there's just a lack of weaponry, right? Like, it doesn't feel like there's a ton of weapons that are kind of extreme. It feels like all your weapons are a little bit mid, which maybe that works. Maybe it's going to be down to like spells and faith and kind of stuff. So that statue, if I'm not mistaken, that's repurposed from the terrain feature that the Sisters of Battle were able to use. We actually have it. It's featured in some of my battle report videos from the old version of Kill Team. I think almost the whole set they're giving you is just the Sisters of Battle terrain. The Adeptus Sororitas. They're kind of repurposing it, I guess. It's a cool statue. I'm gonna double check it though. I think it's the same one from what I saw. When I originally saw it, it was in the trailer and I was like, oh, that's the statue we have. But maybe they did something different, or maybe that was just something else. Yeah, because the building's a 3-story. And it's a big building. Like, we used it in Kill Team once. It was okay. This was back when more armies had fly than you would think. And that was annoying. Anything that goes up to 3 stories when you've got flying units, ugh. Brutal. Try to fix. Give it a second, and then we got to do white ink. White ink is the next. It is super thin, so it goes on really smooth. And then purple over top of that. And it is currently 6 o'clock, which means we will probably call it so I can get some food in me. Probably just do salad. I don't think I'll do Mexican. Let me take a look. While we're waiting for it to dry, the Faith and Zeal. I think probably the part about Faith and Zeal that disappoints me the most isn't the fact that it's basically Ashes of Faith light in terms of how it looks, but also that people like Valrak were saying it was going to be like some kind of Corn Demons versus Grey Knights, and it's like, yeah, Grey Knights kill team. Like, that was the big thing we were all waiting for, was a Grey Knights kill team. Or Blood and Zeal, there we are. Do it. Mediterranean. Because, yeah, Valrak was like, yo, this is gonna be awesome. Yeah, that's 100% the statue. If that's the one that's coming in the box that they show in the picture. I don't know if it is. I mean, I guess they show it off. So yeah, we already have it. I'm only seeing Volcus in the background. I'm not seeing too much else that's different. 2 kill teams, you get a massive Imperial Shrine statue to act as an awesome centerpiece. Yeah, so we already have the train. Done. Let me take a look at the units. Let's, while we wait. Full screen. So, melee. Probably some kind of aura. Cool. What the hell is this? It looks like a shock prod. So, possibly melee? Oh. Double flamers. Cool and into the dark. Or Gallo Dark, but I mean outside of that. Missionaries, also very flame themed. I'm guessing this is going to be the heavy hitter gun. Because it looks like a heavy flamer. This guy's got a plasma pistol, so they do have at least some kind of AP potential. But most of these units really feel like gonna be giving out an aura or a buff. Probably an aura or a buff. Most likely auras or buffs. Alongside having weapons platform stuff. This guy's probably gonna have a parry function. Aura or buff here. This is gonna be a key melee character. Looks like this might be a Melta or a Flamer down here, though. I don't know what this is. Definitely an aura from a actual, like... This is going to have so many auras on this team that I think that's going to be key in fighting them. Like, yeah, this is definitely an aura. This is going to be an aura and a flamethrower. Good amounts of flamethrowers, so that's pretty cool. But I think the key is you're going to want to pick which aura needs to go first and kill it. And that's going to be the goal of your army. I think if it ends up being a horde army, one really good grenade or blast attack is going to ruin this army's life. Melee. This looks intriguing. Because it doesn't quite feel like a bolt gun. And then this is interesting here. There might be something about mobility with this unit. This might be a very close range, pretty devastating thing. Because this almost looks like chain link down here. Like this might be a... Oh yeah, it's a grappling hook. This is a grappling hook gun. Oh, what if this guy's like a grot? This guy's going to probably be like the Felgor leader. Oh, they all have these. What do you think their mission... What do you think their team ability is? Yep, there they are. What do you think their team ability is, everyone? There's no way that you don't have a 1 inch to do... They have to have the Harlequin rule. I'm thinking Harlequin rule on these guys. These might be like the new Harlequins on bigger bases. This is definitely the heavy melee hitter. He's probably going to have a parry function. This guy might have the parry function, actually. Is that a grenade? I think this is a grenade. Dual pistols, but these are both auto pistols. There has to be something related to doing a mission on this character, because this is garbage. There's no way these are going to be statted well. This is going to be like a fodder character. Yeah, Inciter. I'm guessing this is a person who can maybe pull aggro to themselves. Definitely they're going to be fast. I'm thinking they might have the Harlequin rule of 1 inch going up terrain. They might even have 1 inch going down as well for dropping. I'm guessing these are the standard warriors. I wonder if these guys will have GA2. The new GA2. I kind of hate their bases. So... do I hate their bases too? No, these are fine. So, personal opinion, people probably won't have the same opinion. I don't really necessarily like... I like how they show these bases to people. Because, like, for new players who are like, oh, I don't want to have to build corkboard bases. This makes you feel better because this is a little bit of texture and then a flat base. I do like that Kill Team shows that off to people to be like, hey, don't worry about bases. It's fine. I don't like bases that are like, hey, we don't care what terrain you want your fantasy squad to be a part of. We're going to make you put shit on like this and this and this and this. Like, I'm imagining this is probably the same as this, maybe. Maybe not. I don't like the bases kind of like how the Harlequins have terrain coming out of their bases either. But this is most likely for going over terrain. I imagine this might be the first non-Aldari team that gets 7-inch move. Although maybe not. Maybe they still stick with Aldari having 7-inch. And then these guys just get 6, but with the ability to like go over terrain easily. Which, I mean, that helps. No, they're 100% going to make... They want crossover play with these in 40K. So they're going to cross over the rules. Whether or not those rules are going to be useful, whether or not they're going to immediately make them legendary next year, like, that's up to them. These, I think, are going to be your alternates for cultists in World Eaters. That's got to be it. Although... when is this coming out? I'm thinking World Eaters, but these are very mechanical in nature. What if this was one of the teams that's appearing in the Chaos Knights Codex? Because the Chaos Knights Codex is supposed to get fodder. They're supposed to get fodder. We were assuming, or at least I was assuming, that you would buy AdMech, and then you would make them look chaosy, and that would be your fodder. But... what if this is... what if these are the squads that are supposed to be fodder for the Knights? I would hate this because this is like, oh, Khorne. And it's like, well, what if I don't play Khorne? Maybe they'll give you regular cultists or these. This could be a Knights fodder team. Because this should be coming out in a couple weeks. The Knights Codex is a bit after the Pantheon. So if these don't go in another, like straight up, if these don't go in a codex immediately, like if they're not like, yeah, World Eaters and Agents of the Imperium, these are going into the Knights Codexes. Like straight up, these will go into the Knights Codexes as fodder units. The way we painted ours, we did mostly brass, and then I used the effects paint that Games Workshop has to make it look like it was oxidized. I did it like all over this thing. Although I think I did stone on a lot of it too. It was like gray stone for the most part. Oxidized brass on elements. I'm pretty sure the sword, this, I think the halo, definitely the skulls. We did the skulls. And then we did the bottom part. We kept it gray stone as well. And then I did brassing on the tips here. I think I did brassing in the windows. And then we painted the candles red. Darker red than this. It is a cool piece of kit. For those who haven't built it, it sucks. Because this base here, in your brain, you're probably like, oh, that's just like one piece. No, there's like this chunk of skulls. That chunk of skulls, this one skull, this chunk of skulls, and the way the instructions are designed, it doesn't really show the 3D layout of it. So while you're building it, you kind of have to be like, wait, does it set back or does it set forward? Highly do not suggest necessarily gluing it together right away. You kind of want to cut all of them out, clean them up, put them in an area kind of how they're supposed to go, and then sort of push them together to make sure like, oh, that locks in this way. Then glue them. I'm just throwing that out right now. Like this down here sucks. Outside of that, I think this foot, this leg are separate. This is like two pieces that go together. Then you attach this to the top, and I think it's like front back maybe for these. And then the wings, I want to say, were 2 pieces or just one whole piece each. And then the head separate. I remember this being obnoxious to glue on because it's like the torch, the hand to the forearm, and then I think you have to glue this into the forearm. Like, this was annoying to put together. For just one piece that isn't even really that big. Like, I mean, it's big, you can see it. But I think it's smaller than a Lord of Change. But still, it's a little obnoxious. Alright, the cobalt's probably dry. I'm gonna change the bitrate of my stream because I'm pretty sure the bitrate was supposed to be much higher than it is. And I guess it got rolled back. I'm gonna go to 6K or 68K. Because you guys are supposed to be seeing this in 1080p, and I'm realizing now this should improve visual fidelity. It's weird. I had 77 views. Now I have 70 views. What is going on with YouTube? So awkward. Okay, here we go. The white ink phase. So white ink, for how we do this, is particularly on an angle. I want the cobalt to kind of be the shadow color, and it also needs to be the bright color between the purple and the pink. So it serves kind of two purposes, which means we have to be very explicit about where the white goes. Kind of have to be careful with it. I might actually move one of these completely aside while we work on it so that it doesn't get hit with more white than it already has. But the way I want to do it is sort of top down. And the top of the tank needs most of the white, if we're being real. Makes it sort of like a pre-shade. Set that aside for now. There is a bit of a question here. Because I want to make all these exhausts glowing red, like they're overly hot. So I'm thinking once it dries a bit, I might tape them off. Because what we did with the Land Raider was we sort of did this, we hit it with purple, and then we taped off the exhausts, or the area around the exhausts, the best we could. And then hit them with white again, and then moved them into the chartreuse. But I feel like if we can get this to dry... If we get it to dry just enough, I might... I don't know. I could almost physically paint it. I could physically paint the white on the pipes and then physically apply kind of a smooth gradiated chartreuse into orange. That way I don't have to risk the glow hitting things I don't want it to hit. Maybe we go that route. At which point, once the purple is applied, we are all good. Spruce this one up a little bit. These are very clean. The Land Raider we designed has a little bit of chaosification to it with the extra exhausts and all that. A little bit of spiking coming out, but these are going to be mildly clean with the little Slanesh marks on front. Again, I'm kind of interested in the idea of my Emperor's Children feeling like they're, I guess, stuck in the past. Clinging to that perfection from so long ago. Kind of like the person who goes to the high school reunion and acts like, you know, that was the best time of their life and that they're like the king at high school. Meanwhile, you know, they're bagging groceries in real life and it's like not that great. But they love telling the stories to everyone that they see in the day. Like, hey, I was once the cool kid in high school. That's what I want my Emperor's Children to feel like. Ink should be just about dry. What's cool about the Liquitex ink is the act of putting it through the airbrush kind of dries it almost as fast as it hits the surface just because of the pressure from the airbrush blowing on it. It's really nice. Purple. I feel like Zinch is probably going to get an automaton. That's the rumor, right? It's just going to be an automata. Which, I mean, cool. I've been hoping to get sort of a psychic dreadnought type thing. So if that's actually the route they go, that's fantastic. Korn might be getting these cultists that we've seen, and then maybe like one other thing. I mean, we know that Nurgle's getting a new character, right? It's the one guy with the big sword on his back, which, I mean, that's what we all thought, right? Nurgle needed more characters. They felt so lacking in characters. Hopefully, people who don't play 40k can hear my sarcasm. It's a cool character, don't get me wrong. But, like, by God, did they not need that? They could have went with like a new type of poxwalker or zombie or something. Just gave them a little bit more plague flavor. Well, they got a new character. Have fun. Because technically they're a character-heavy army. They are not a fun army to play into people who are like, yo, I have a lot of precision. Which, I'm not gonna lie, Death Guard are gonna hate Emperor's Children. They have so much potential for, like, taking out individual targets with precision-based function. And that's about right for a baseline. I liked old Killing Floor, but that was mostly because of the people I played with. When Killing Floor first came out, my friends were like, yo, you're getting in, we're playing this game. And I was like, alright, cool. But then as more iterations of Killing Floor dropped, it started to feel more and more like they were kind of just aiming to be like a... sort of like a... How do I put this? Like a Zoomer game? Which, sure, I mean, go for the audience you think you're going to make the most out of. Absolutely. Like, it feels more like a game for, like, streamers and stuff. Whereas before, it was actually kind of fun with like the leveling systems and the jank and like how the characters worked. And then it just got weird. Because, I mean, it's a horde game. I do like that. Kind of like a roguelike horde game, almost. With co-op. I mean, consider me sold on that concept. But then, like, newer stuff came out, and the whole focus of the game felt like it shifted to a new audience. So, that's fine. The second one was pretty average, too. We tried the second one. I actually got to review the second one for the YouTube channel I'm editing for. And, like, it was fun to a degree, but then it just started to feel, like, not great. The more I was playing it, I was like, oh, no. I talked to my friends about it. I was like, you guys thinking of playing it? They were like, we looked at it. We don't want to play it. And that was the end of the conversation. It lost the allure of whatever the first one had. And it was trying to, like, rebrand and re-identify with a whole other audience. And, I mean, they're getting a third game, so we have to assume whatever they chose to do kind of works out, right? Like, there's no way it's not working if they're getting a third game. Or maybe it isn't, and somehow they procured a third game for no reason. I mean, you don't know. All it takes is one very wealthy person to make your dreams come true as a company. Like, I don't know how familiar you are with, I think it's Saban Entertainment. I'm pretty sure Saban Entertainment is owned by, like, one ultra-trillionaire who has, like, a lot of nostalgia. Because when certain actors and actresses start to kind of fall off, they start appearing in Saban films, and you know Saban is paying them, like, absolute bank. Because the films are so bad. They're just so bad. And then they don't do well in box offices. Like, they're just... It's such a bad thing. But they'll have Bruce Willis in the film, and you're just like, whoa, how'd this happen? And it 100%, it's because it's some ultra billionaire who used to love watching old Bruce Willis films. So when Bruce Willis was kind of going through his the genetic disease or whatever he's got, he was like, I'm not going to be able to be in films anymore. And, you know, that's sad. I'm guessing whoever owns Saban kind of stepped up and was like, yo. You don't have to try that hard on the film. I just kind of want you to be here. Because this is a big fantasy of mine from when I was a kid. And then, like, there you go. We got Bruce Willis in more films. They're not good films. But it's someone with a ton of money living their dream. Sweet. Oh, yeah. We're not going to get into the hand-painted stuff quite yet. That'll probably be tomorrow. I am hungry. It is almost 7 o'clock. I need to clean up this airbrush. There is some parts on this I feel like we're going to have to do some corrective work on. But we'll be able to actually toil away tomorrow with the rest of this. The issue I'm having is that the little kickstandy things out here, they're the easiest part for me to hold while I'm painting it. And they seem to also be the easiest part for the paint to peel off of. So that's going to be an issue. I don't even think wearing a glove is going to stop that. I can try. I can go pick one up tomorrow. But I feel like wearing a latex glove will just exacerbate the issue. Maybe I can get a felt glove. Has YouTube updated for like a rating feature yet? Because War Games Live is currently on, and I kind of want to send you guys there if you want to continue watching something. He is about to broadcast the finals of the tournament that he's checking out. Tournaments, right, from what I've been seeing recently for 40K, have gotten really interesting. Like the last tournament he broadcasted had Imperial Knights versus like a ton of Ynnari stuff. I mean, Ynnari's huge right now because it's one of those situations kind of like in a fighting game scenes where it's so new that people don't know how to counter it. So you can get some pretty easy, quick wins by playing a rule set not a lot of people are used to. And that's going to be the same way with Emperor's Children when they first drop. Looking forward to taking advantage of that. Lol. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm able to get to like a proper tournament with any kind of like list. Okay. Real quick as well. Let me just fix some of the pink that came off. Excellent. They should end up being pretty good, though. I think at the very least, they're going to look pretty good next to what we've already done. Let me get them off this multi-technicolored nonsense that makes you not see what they look like. Hell yeah. A lot of non-metallic metal work we're going to have to do tomorrow. I can feel it. A lot of work. We're going to have to pick out certain components like this raised plate here to make gold. We might do similar to this. We're going to do the guns gold. We're going to do the border on this thing gold. I think step one, though, we do the this all in white, as well as the interior jet part, like the little vented parts. And then we do chartreuse and then orange closer to the bottom, as well as inside the vents. And then we will have our transports for the Noise Marine set and ready, which is good. Very good. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'll link in chat. You know what? Screw it. We link in chat. Because I don't think there's a raid function. I hate how YouTube does, like, nothing of value in terms of trying to make it, like, better as an experience for people. They're just like, who cares? I mean, granted, they got to see the Twitch side of things sort of screw that up, where people were using raids as sort of a way to, like, negatively impact people, which really sucked. So, copy link. There you go. War Games Live. Go check them out. Great channel for just watching 40K in general. So, yeah. Till next time, guys. Later.